misty-eyed about a 32-year-old catcher with a 244 batting average. That's completely missing the point. It's also not about bringing in a replacement who's kind of similar and didn't cost any baseball capital or any of that stuff. These are all components to the Jacob Stallings, Roberto Perez situation, but they're not the main thrust. Good morning to you. Good Wednesday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports, and this is Daily Shot of Pirates. It comes your way bright and early every weekday morning. If you're into football and or hockey, I also offer up daily shots of Steelers and Penguins where you found this. Stallings has been traded. He's gone, obviously. And that's now water under the bridge, even if Stallings found a way to remind everyone yesterday in a Zoom call with the collected Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and Pittsburgh media of what an extraordinary class act this individual happens to be.
You know, I told Ben this yesterday. Just and I've said the same thing, Neil and Clint Hurdle before them. Just thank you for the opportunity. I'll forever be grateful for that and for believing in me. I wasn't ever sure that I was gonna get to play Major League Baseball. So everything from here on out is kind of icing on the cake. But I guess those are the main ones. I just really hope that the people there within the organization and outside of the organization, fans, teammates, staff, all just felt like I treated them well and treated them with kindness. And that's all I really care about, to be honest.
Yeah, wouldn't want a guy like that on your team or in your organization, huh? It still makes no sense. And by still, I mean, another 24 hours has passed. I've looked harder at the numbers. I've read more background on the three individuals acquired for Stallings than I think I've done for any other trade that Ben Cherington's made, mostly in an attempt to understand it. And I still don't. You can try to justify it by saying that Perez is a component of it. And I guarantee you that's what you're going to end up getting from Cherington when he speaks, which, by the way, is supposed to happen this afternoon. It originally was supposed to be yesterday, but it got pushed back a day. I guarantee you that's what it's going to be something like, well, we moved Stallings, 32-year-old catcher, great player, great guy, blah, 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 blah. And we got for him, a pitcher who can compete for a rotation spot with us right away, that being Zach Thompson, and two prospects, an arm and an outfielder, also at positions of need. And then we went out and spent $5 million to get a replacement catcher for 1 year. We believe in Henry Davis, first overall pick in the draft. He's a catcher. He's going to be fast-tracked, not because of this, but just because he's a first overall pick. And it's all going to sound pretty smooth when it comes from him, because he has that demeanor. Oh, man, this guy could be sitting at the base of a parking garage in an earthquake and just, you'd never know it from looking at him. He'd be like, yeah, whatever. And he'll be pretty good at it. He's not super slick. That's not what sells with him. It's the fact that he's so calm and self-assured and everything else. And it's going to sound good. And I'm going to tell you that right now, that after you hear from him, you're going to feel a whole lot better about the trade. And I am telling you right here that I won't. Not out of stubbornness. Again, I keep reading stuff. I'm finding more things to like about Thompson and the 2 prospects, there's a really good chance that any of the 3 could blossom into a decent player. You know what they won't blossom into? The best defensive catcher in the game. You know what else they won't blossom into? Somebody who could help and impact your entire pitching staff, including your young guys, as they make it up from Indianapolis to Pittsburgh. Heck, he can impact them, well, could have impacted them had he stayed, in spring training in Bradenton, as he often did. If you trade him out of the organization, you are left with a hole that this does not replace, meaning this transaction, nor acquiring Perez for a year. It's not an even swap. You can try to dress it up whichever way you want and include Perez into the deal. The fact of the matter is, the transaction is the transaction. It never needed to be made, and if it was going to be made, there needed to be greater value coming back than what was going out. That is most certainly not the case. This portion of Daily Shot of Pirates is brought to you by our friends at North Shore Tavern. That's directly across Federal Street from PNC Park. It's home of Steak on a Stone, an eating experience, underscoring the word experience. The steak is brought to you partially cooked on an 800-degree stone, and you do the rest. It's a ton of fun, it's a great meal, and it's a baseball atmosphere like no other in Pittsburgh. North Shore Tavern, right across Federal Street from PNC Park. So what is the point? What is the thing that I was referring to earlier that this should really be all about? I'll say it, and it's a repeat, but I'll say it with gusto now. This team at the Pittsburgh level needs to markedly improve in 2022. The thing that I've set, the bar that I've set for the year, and again, this is just my own expectations. It's not like I'm important or anything. I'm just sharing with you my own thoughts. The bar that I've set in observing this team is 500. Now, does that seem insane in light of losing 101 games? Maybe, possibly, but guaranteed if you're not doing anywhere near enough to improve the product in Pittsburgh. And this doesn't help that. This doesn't help the present. It doesn't help the short-term future. And because of the impact that Stallings can have, it might not even help the long-term future. One of the things that I've heard and read a lot on social media over the last 48 hours is that, well, Stallings was never going to be part of a winning team here. Well, I mean, that could be a self-fulfilling prophecy if you choose it to be. But when I hear Cherington saying things like what he said on MLB Network a week ago about how the Pirates are going to be contending maybe sooner than some people think, and you send out a player who had completely cemented a really important position and who you still had his rights to for the next 4 years at a very affordable rate. So this isn't even about money. This is a bad move. This is a bad trade, and it feels like kicking the can down the road, a phrase I used to use a lot as it related to Neil Huntington and company. This feels like kicking the can down the road. This feels like saying, nope, not 2022 either, maybe not 2023. We're just going to do this thing where we ship players out and get multiples back into eternity. That might not be what this is. I'm saying that this is what it feels like. This is what it feels like right now. When we come back, just one question. Welcome back. It's time for just one question, and today's comes from my friend and a longtime reader, John Leese, who says, I just can't take it anymore. I know it shouldn't bother me after this many years of sucking, but trading Stallings for meh and then signing a cast-off who hadn't even hit close to 200 this decade, topped off with supposed Pirates fans who are fine with it. If there's a worse experience in baseball than being a Pirates fan, I've missed something. John's obviously not asking a question there, but I've gotten a lot of this sent this way over these last couple of days. And as you can tell from the opening segment, I very much get it. Ben Cherington and above him Travis Williams came in with at least the promise of being something different than Neil Huntington and Kyle Stark and crew. And part of that was going to be that whenever it came time to get serious, they would. This isn't it. This isn't it. This was sending out a player who was, I keep saying this, the best at his position in the world, certainly from a defensive standpoint. Sending him out for a 28-year-old starter and two prospects who weren't even in that other organization's top 10. That's comical. I don't care what you do in turn to try to address that. It's comical. It is a bad transaction. I'm not even sure that I'm sharing an opinion with you here. I don't know that this is an opinion. This is a bad transaction. And it was made for no reason. That's the part that I can't get past. There is not a clear reason for this to have happened. You didn't need Roberto Perez on your team. He's a stopgap. He's a filler because you made another move. So this move didn't happen to bring another catcher in. This move didn't happen to bring in some established starting pitcher either. Thompson might end up being whatever, a decent pitcher. Nobody's looking at him and saying, oh yeah, this was the target. The same applies to both of the prospects. And again, you can't even say they did it to save money. I mean that's the popular thing among the know-nothings, that just, they don't even follow the Pirates. They just rip whatever it is that they do. There they go, being cheap again. He was going to cost you. No. Pay attention. Stallings wasn't going to cost much of anything. This makes no sense. As it stands right now, and I'm always going to be fair and hear out the executive involved, and, that's going to be this afternoon with Cherington. But as this stands right now, this has no explanation. I'm not making Stallings out to be more important than he is by getting all ooh about this. Okay, I'd save that for Brian Reynolds, okay? But I am saying that it's damaging to the credibility of this general manager and this front office to make a trade like this because of people like you, John, who put their faith in them and who did so, incidentally, very much against the public grain. It is not a cool or easy thing to back the Pirates or to believe in the Pirates in any capacity. And when you do that and they do something that's this bleeping stupid and inexplicable, yeah, you're very much entitled to have the reaction that you're having, John. I appreciate the question. It wasn't even really a question. I just appreciate you. I appreciate everybody listening to Daily Shot of Pirates, and we will have another one tomorrow with the input, finally, from Cherington.